Well, welcome back. Earlier we talked about on the morning news about the whole situation surrounding the Oscars this go around, and its so-called lack of diversity. Well, what's this really all about? I am delighted to have with us today Rabbi Yonason Goldson. I hope I said that right. He's the author of Proverbial Beauty, and we're here to talk about that. So, Rabbi, did I pronounce your name right?
You got pretty close, Yonason.
Hey, thanks for being with us. Good to see you.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
What's Proverbial Beauty? Tell us about it quickly.
Well, what I've really tried to do is create a marriage between King Solomon and the Mona Lisa. King Solomon gave us the book of Proverbs, which is a guide to understanding how to live a successful and a happy and a fulfilling life. And the Mona Lisa is the classic woman of mystery. As I researched her, I found all sorts of fascinating things about her history and about the style and the techniques and the culture of art. And then I found that she was a proverb unto herself, and that using her and insights into the modern world, news stories, historical and folktale vignettes, I was able to weave together a guide to how we can change our frame of mind, approach the world in a way that's going to make us more happy and more successful in everything we do.
Well, beautiful. And can they get that at your website, or is it available online?
It's at my website, which is my name, YonasonGoldson.com, and they can also find it at Amazon. Just punch in Proverbial Beauty.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's go over to the Oscars. You're certainly well aware of the controversy, the lack of diversity. What's your interpretation of this?
Well, the first thing that strikes me is the accusation that Hollywood is racist is kind of striking. Hollywood is the left of the left of the left, and their whole culture is built around diversity, equality, protecting the weak, the poor, the underprivileged, the minorities. And so to accuse the Hollywood culture of racism strikes me as a little bit bizarre. In fact, one of the most extraordinary comments I saw in the Daily Beast was a suggestion that actress Halle Berry was given an Oscar because she was half white, which I think it really sort of stuns the imagination, sort of like saying that our president was elected because he was half white. When we start looking for absolute equality in everything, we really miss the point that we live in a variegated society. We live in a world that is rich in diversity, and you can't expect everything to fall out according to statistical percentages. What would have happened if all of the nominees had been black? Would there have been a complaint of reverse discrimination? I don't think so. When you've had some 20 or so black Oscar winners and nominees over the last 10 or 15 years, 2 years does not really represent a trend, even less so an alarming trend, as the Daily Beast suggested.
Well, you know what's so interesting to me? Isn't this supposed to be about talent and accomplishment and about the movie itself? I mean, if the Academy is going to modify its policy midterm going into the awards, what are they doing to themselves? Is this going to backfire?
Well, it certainly could. Nobody likes to think that anything is rigged. And as you say, it's supposed to be about talent. Now, I don't see the movies too much. I can't comment on who was deserving. I think we all have our personal favorites, and we all have our personal dislikes. But it's becoming a little bit like Little League. Everybody has to get a trophy. We're not recognizing accomplishment. We're not recognizing achievement. And when we do that, we end up with a society that doesn't value effort anymore. And when that happens, we're in serious trouble.
Has this controversy handed the host, Rock, who's a comedian, I mean, he could react two ways. He could come out and be angry himself, or he could come out with a certain level of levity and dispel the anger and the frustration. I mean, it kind of plays right into him, don't you think?
It could. One of the major themes in my book is the difference between sarcasm and irony. Sarcasm comes from a place of cynicism, always looking for the worst in things and in people, always laughing at other people's expense, whereas irony is able to see the anomalies in the world and recognize the world as a place of uncertainty, as a place of unpredictability, and rejoice in that, being able to laugh at ourselves. You know, if people of a certain age will remember Johnny Carson, he was a master of irony. He was always willing to poke fun at himself and include himself in the joke and include the audience in the joke and not make jokes always at the expense of others. It would be nice if we saw a little bit more of that nowadays.
I see this reaction, Rabbi, somewhat splitting those who've been involved in the academy for many, many years. Some actors are coming out and saying, you know, get over it. We are recognizing diversity. And others are saying, well, no, we need to stop and rethink this whole thing. It could be splitting the academy right down the middle.
Well, sure. And I think that's inevitable when you have this increase in political correctness. After a while, it goes so far that that even well-intentioned people may say, this is just enough, this is too much. We have to be willing sometimes to say what things are, to recognize realities. Maybe this particular year, the most distinguished performances were by white people. Maybe next year will be the opposite. But I think it's healthy that it's creating a certain amount of debate because then you can start to combat the groupthink that is so pervasive at all, that we all have to agree to toe the party line, or we are the next targets of the politically incorrect.
Well, the political correct now is incorrect, which is the irony of what's happened here. And we've seen this in other examples throughout our culture. I mean, I would say that even to a certain extent, the Black Lives Matter movement's got some a mix-up between political correctness and political incorrectness. Do you think this nonsense will ever stop?
Well, that's really the question that's on many people's minds these days. Is the pendulum going to swing back? Or has it swung so far that the system is broken beyond repair? We want to be optimistic, and really the way it starts is with ourselves. If we can be civil, if we can be clear thinking, if we can recognize that we don't live in a perfect world, and instead of trying to change everybody around us, if we work on improving ourselves, then maybe we can send out some little ripples that'll start to turn into bigger ripples, and hope things will turn around and swing back the other way.
Rabbi, thank you so much for your time. And again, your book is called Proverbial Beauty, and I would assume it's there at Amazon. They can go there and get a copy of it. Thank you, my friend. Let's connect again soon.
I'd enjoy that. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. All right, we'll be right back.
I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.